ago, I shared with you an experience that I had at my brother's garden plot in Portland, Oregon. I was visiting him and his family for a couple days because I was in the Portland area for a conference. And so my brother invited me to his family garden plot early one morning, the keeping early one morning. So I was a little reluctant because, you know, as I've shared with you, there's pretty much nothing about gardening that appeals to me. I don't do dirt. I don't do bugs. I don't do digging. I don't do early mornings, except on Sundays. And I don't do compost. But I wanted to be a good sport, and I wanted to be an easy house guest. So I went along with him that early morning, and I ended up having an amazing insight while picking tomatoes, of all things. In fact, if you want to watch that talk, it was, I think it was like September 17th. You can watch it on our website. Did you guys know you can watch all talks on the website? I probably shouldn't tell you that because then you won't come on Sunday mornings and you just wait and watch the talk. But you know what? You would miss the community. You would miss the music. So, but that one you could watch again. So anyway, what was interesting about this is that not only did I have one amazing insight sitting in that garden, but I actually had two amazing insights and I couldn't fit it into just one single talk. So I waited until today, Thanksgiving Sunday, to share with you the other part of the story. Because it all has to do with gratitude and unexpected gifts. Who knew that I could get that much insight and that much good material from a community garden? Seriously, however, I have something really exciting to tell you. So before I get into my talk, I need to tell you what's going on at the center. As you may know, our property includes all the land that goes up to the building over there and all the land behind us, including going up the hill. Now, we had originally planned that we were going to do something so that we could increase our parking. But what's turned out is we actually have enough parking right now. We may still do that as we grow, as you and all of your friends and closest friends and family come every Sunday. We may end up doing that. But in the meantime, we've got street parking, we've got parking lot parking, so we're okay. So, what we have decided to do, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? This is like the coolest thing ever. We're going to have an urban farm! I'm serious! We're hiring a company that is going to plant and tend and harvest and distribute the produce, plus they're going to take care of our lawn. It's a total win-win situation. And then this is what's cool. When springtime comes, when it's time to begin planting and planting the garden, we are going to have the opportunity to invest in it. Let me tell you what's going to happen. If you invest in it, and it's like I don't even remember, John, are you here? Yeah. Yep. Okay, like how much maybe?
Yeah, roughly $27 a week.
$27 a week if you invest in this, and then every week you are going to get a basket of produce. How cool is that? I'm sorry, this is just the best idea yet. And here, what's left over every week, if it doesn't all go, then they're going to take it to the local farmer's market and sell it there. So not only are we putting the land to good use, but we're also going to be part of making it sustainable. It's going to sustain the land, it's going to be good for the land, it's going to be good for the farmers, it's going to be good for us, and it's going to be good for our bodies. So we're going to have a lot of information about that as things progress. But since I was talking about gardening, and because we have a giant pile of compost, and you may have been wondering what that was all about, it seemed appropriate to let you know what's happening. So who thinks that's cool? Yeah? So I'm going to now get back to my insight about my brother's garden. You thought I forgot, didn't you? So as I'm standing in this garden, it's a community garden there in Portland, and among in their plot, and there's endless tomatoes, and there's cucumbers, and there's zucchini, and there's peppers, and there's herbs, and everything. They're standing. This is not a picture. This is not their plot, but it looks like this. Standing in the middle of their plot was a giant, random, single sunflower. Now, you would have to know my brother and my sister-in-law to understand how unusual this is. First of all, I think of sunflowers as being kind of a happy, kumbaya, everybody hold hands kind of a flower, right? Is that what you think of as sunflowers? Well, my brother and his wife are scientists. They're doctors. And so they are definitely not into the whole kumbaya holding hands thing. So it seems highly unlikely that they would have planted a sunflower in their garden. And if my sister-in-law had planned to plant a sunflower in the garden, it would have been a well-thought-out pattern, not a random single flower in the middle of everything, disrupting what she would think was her plan. So then I'm looking around the garden, and I'm seeing that a lot of them had random single sunflowers around. And yeah, they were pretty and they were cheerful, but it seemed oddly out of place in this well-tended community garden, right? So I asked my brother about it. Now, my brother is not metaphysical at all. Well, he is, but he just doesn't know it. So here was his answer to me, which led me to my insight, which is the reason we're having today's talk. He says, I don't really know where they came from. Maybe the birds dropped sunflower seeds in the area, or maybe there were seeds in the compost that we use, and they just kind of popped up. I want you to think about that for a second. Maybe they were in the compost, random seeds that just kind of popped up. If that is not a metaphysical lesson for how sometimes things pop up in our lives unexpectedly, then I don't know what is. Because in our teaching, what we teach is that we co-create our life gardens with our thoughts and our beliefs. And the more conscious we are, the more we tend and water and nourish and plan and organize our thoughts and our thought garden, the more they resemble what we want. We talk about having a mental equivalent. So we do the work in mind, and then our life garden is supposed to look like that, right? Are you with me so far? Okay. This is the creative process that we talk about all the time. I just want to share with you what Ernest Holmes said about it. Ernest Holmes is our founder to newcomers. We desire something which is good, certainly not something which hurts ourselves or anyone else. So we are thinking affirmatively and constructively, and we must believe that the law of mind automatically acts upon our thought to fulfill our desires. Just as when a person plants a garden and puts into the ground seeds of what he wants to grow and flower for him, a creative principle acts upon the seeds he has planted to bring forth that which is the invisible image or essence within the seeds. Now, I know that's a lot of words. If you want to understand it, come to Foundations class on Tuesday night. But what he's describing there is the creative process. And yet sometimes, without our planning or our conscious choice, something unexpected pops up into our life garden, doesn't it? And whether it's something cool like a sunflower, or whether it's something less cool like a crisis, it takes us by surprise. And we're like, no, this isn't the plan. How did that get there? This is not, well, I didn't treat for that. I didn't have a mental equivalent for that. But here's how this works, folks. I'm going to really get into teaching here. We all have these unexpected thought seeds that are lurking around in our subconscious mind. Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay, so we have these thought seeds that are lurking around our subconscious mind. And the reason for that, let me get rid of this screen because it doesn't work. Okay, so the reason for that, our subconscious minds, ladies and gentlemen, record and hold on to and store absolutely everything that we have ever heard or thought or experienced or said or anything. Everything is stored in our subconscious mind. And let's face it, not everything that we've ever heard or said or thought or experienced is positive or pleasant. So sometimes those thought memories bubble up to the surface and they plant themselves in our gardens unexpectedly, no matter how carefully we're tending the garden of our minds. In other words, sometimes the compost of our subconscious mind contains seeds that we are not consciously aware of. Is this making sense? You with me? So now we're going to take a look at compost. I got to tell you, it grosses me out. A picture of it. Listen to the definition. A mixture of organic matter, as from leaves, food, and manure, that has decayed or has been digested by organisms used to improve soil structure and provide nutrients. Sent me into a hot flash. But here's the thing. When I get on the other side of my grossed outness about compost, I can see the absolute perfection in it. It's the stuff that no longer has a use, like table scraps or leaves or manure, that coming together becomes transformed or transmuted into something that nurtures and sustains growth. Think about that. It gets transformed from stuff to something that nurtures and transforms growth. So bringing it back to our analogy here, all the experiences of our lives are down there in our subconscious mind becoming compost. And often that compost absolutely serves us and provides us a foundation upon which we can build our lives. And sometimes a stray, random something pops up that we may not like or we feel doesn't serve us. And yet if we believe that we live in a friendly universe where everything is here to serve us, then we can believe that even those things that crop up unexpectedly are here to serve us, if we can see them that way. These days, it seems like we have a lot of wayward seeds cropping up on the world front. And they are not kumbaya, everybody hold hands, sunflower seeds. They're unexpected things like natural disasters and economic challenges and political strife. And so when choosing to fire automatic weapons into a crowd of concert goers, killing 58 people and injuring 500. And for people like us, who are working so diligently to keep our thoughts high and to keep our thoughts loving and positive, it is enough to bring us to our knees. In fact, there were moments this week when I felt like giving up. What's the use? So many things happening that felt as if my very foundation was being shaken. Anybody else? Am I the only one? Fortunately, we are not alone. We are not alone. There are many of us who are continuing to hold the high watch in spite of the unexpected seeds that we're encountering. On Tuesday, the spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living put out a statement that helped. It helped me. It helped me remember who I am and what I'm here to do. And so I'm going to share it with you. And I don't normally read a lot from what other people have to say, but I wanted to share this with you because I think it's important. First of all, he quotes Ernest Holmes. I now command the multitude of doubts and fears that crowd into my mind to be quiet while the divine miracle takes place in my life. I let every good I possess become multiplied as divine love acts upon my faith to bring into my experience everything necessary for our well-being. I now command the multitude of doubts and fears that crowd my mind to be quiet. He goes on to say, with each passing day, I cannot think of a better message for any of us in this teaching at this time. With each passing day, it is though the multitude of doubts and fears grow exponentially, demanding us to show our strength. While it may feel as if we are being bombarded and that we reel from one crisis to the next, in fact, we're being called to expand our faith and trust in what we hold to be true, that love is the impulsion of the universe. Now is the time to I'm a little verklempt. I'm sorry, I don't normally do this. Now is not the time to succumb to crisis fatigue. We cannot allow ourselves to go numb, turn away, react, or despair. We are in this for the long haul of humanity's awakening. It is now, when the world appears as if we are at war with ourselves, with each other, and the planet, that I call on us to respond to that perceived separation with the love that answers all. It is now that we step up in a shared profound belief and knowledge that we lead with love. One more part here. We do so when it's easy, yes, but it is imperative we do it when it seems impossible. We shall not allow hurtful and hateful actions of a few demoralize us when we can embody and be beacons of a faith that can free the world. Beacons of spiritual illumination, ladies and gentlemen. He says we're being called to see through the mist and bring forward the power of divine love. That is what it means to see and to be the light. It is up to us to be the guardians of a greater consciousness for this entire planet. And so we stand together, knowing that when we do so, we bring great good to a thirsty world. Everybody take a breath. Even though the world's compost is bringing up a lot of unexpected and unwanted seeds into our collective gardens, we can use those things that we are being given to become stronger, to become awake, to be more loving, to lift the consciousness of humanity to where we know it can be. We can continue to plant those seeds of how we want the world to look and trust that our higher thought brings precedence, takes precedence over the low. Now I want to tell you that I think I want to apologize. This was not the talk that I intended to give today. When I first planned this talk for Thanksgiving, it was going to be fun, lighthearted talk about sunflowers and all this wonderful stuff. But you know what? Part of being awake, part of being conscious, is to be flexible and to pivot when it's necessary. And so today, it felt like it was necessary. So I'd like to close now with a writing from Ernest Holmes, from my favorite book of his. I have many, but called This Thing Called You. You can use it as a meditation, or you can simply read along with me. Esteban, could you come and leave it in the back? I've also made copies of this that are out in the lobby in case you'd like to use it for your Thanksgiving blessing this week. So you can meditate to it, or you can look at it while I read. Guard well the garden of your mind. It is God's garden of your soul. It is your garden of Eden, wherein may grow your fondest desires and hopes, blossoming into fulfillment. Or if you permit, the weeds of destruction, fear, and doubt will choke out the beauty of hope until despair alone remains. Watch carefully then this garden of your mind. Plant there only seeds of happiness, of joy, of peace, and of goodwill. It may be necessary to cultivate your garden, to uproot weeds and straighten out the rows, plant new seeds, new ideas, broader visions, and deeper realizations of life. Watch your garden carefully. Guard it patiently, waiting for a new harvest. For you shall reap what you sow. Plant love in your garden and go often into it. Sitting under the tree of life in a cool, quiet communion, you will find fresh inspiration. God itself will go forth anew into creation through you. I just want to express deep gratitude, deep thanksgiving for all of you. We are a family, and I love you. And so it is.